जग के वो है दाता नारायण भगवान। सारे जग के वो है दाता नारायण भगवान। गुरु बिना सब ज्ञान अधूरा, गुरु बिना है ये जग सूना। गुरु बिना सब ज्ञान अधूरा, गुरु बिना।
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत् सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। Sri Madhusudan Saraswati has called Bhagavad Gita as mother. And as gentle mother is, as kind, loving, compassionate, forgiving she is, but anyone who troubles or harms her child, instantly she transforms into Kali. Isn't it? Bhagavad Gita is that mother, Bhavadveshini, who hates and is ready to attack and destroy that Bhavasagar, that ocean of samsara where her children are suffering. In short, in change there is uncertainty. She is that which bestows on us eternity and therefore frees us from all uncertainty of change. That is the Bhagavad Gita. In this 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna is now giving the highest knowledge, which directly reveals to us our infinite nature. That which leads us directly to enlightenment. That which frees us not only from the uncertainties of samsara, of bhava, of change, but also frees us from our own limitations, our own bondage. This 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita acclaimed to be the highest in knowledge. First, Bhagwan explains what is the field. In simple ways to understand, field means the world. Anything that we experience other than ourselves is the experienced world. Simple to understand. And what we experience is not only the world of objects, but also the world of our emotions, or the world covered with our emotions, and also the world which is limited by our thinking or thoughts. At least that much we can understand. But Bhagwan makes us aware that this known world, this kshetra, this field that we experience and we live in, is not only the world of objects, emotions, and thoughts, but the great rishis, the great scientists of life, recognized that even our equipments, the body, mind, and intellect, are part of this world, this kshetra, and all made up of matter. And one who is the knower of all matter is the conscious being, the knower. And by saying that body, mind, and intellect is also the world of our experience, it is made up of matter, indicates that knower which is beyond matter. Clear? Put in simple words what Krishna has said. Therefore, the entire world of body, mind, intellect, and identified with the body, mind, and intellect, we understand ourselves to be the perceiver, feeler, thinker, and the knower of the world. But the Paramatma, the higher self, is knower of everything in this world. You might now think that you are the knower of your body, mind, and intellect. But the higher self, the Paramatma, is that one consciousness that is aware of everyone's body, mind, and intellect. The entire world of objects, emotions, and thoughts. Having said that, Bhagwan knows that this knowledge is very subtle. It is not to be gathered as information, Because this knower is to be recognized as myself. At the moment, I think because identified with my senses, I am the knower of the objects of the world. But have you thought, who knows your body? So the senses seem to be the perceiver of objects. The mind seems to be the feeler of emotions. The intellect thinks the thoughts. But who knows the body, mind, and intellect? You know your body, mind, and intellect, isn't it? You don't know everything about it, but you have a body. Do you know or not? You have a mind. I hope you know you have. Yeah. And you're trying to understand. So you have an intellect also, no? Who is the knower of this body, mind, and intellect is what we have to recognize. The knower of objects, emotion, and thought, you say, is this body, mind, and intellect, the perceiver, feeler, and thinker. But who's the knower of your body, mind, and intellect? Yeah. Is beyond the limitations of the body, beyond the limitations of the mind, and beyond the limitations of the intellect. Beyond the age of the body, beyond the confusions of the mind, and beyond the frontiers of the intellect. So having indicated it, now Bhagavan explains what is knowledge. Now we think knowledge is what? We went to college, learned some outdated information, which is not even useful to us these days. You have knowledge of engineering, but when you actually go into construction or electric engineering or computer engineering, you have to relearn everything. Is it not? So knowledge is not just information. Same way also, people who study the scriptures of spirituality, of truth, merely understanding the word meaning, which is essential to understand so that your understanding is right. But does that constitute knowledge? And then there are many who study the scriptures, many who listen to the discourses, many who follow the same Gyan Guru, that teacher who imparts the knowledge, yet many do not realize the truth. Why? Therefore, here Bhagavan explains what constitutes knowledge. What is knowledge? And before we start, for you not to get any confusion, Bhagavan points out what is the preparation for knowledge. And when you have knowledge, how does it reflect in your life? And what is lived by men and women of knowledge should be the means for us to gain knowledge. Therefore, Bhagavan first starts listing some of the virtues that we need to develop within ourselves to gain this knowledge. And when you have knowledge, then these virtues will be there in you. Virtues to gain knowledge. And these virtues are seen in the men and women of knowledge. Therefore, Bhagavan calls it as jnanam. However, the final end result that you call as realization is also what Bhagavan is going to speak about. So otherwise you will say, how come this is called as knowledge? Knowledge means knowledge. We ask somebody, what is knowledge? Knowledge means knowledge. But what is knowledge? How to gain this knowledge? And especially this knowledge of the infinite, this knowledge of the permanent, this knowledge of the supreme, this knowledge of the knower who never becomes the known. Yeah? Who is the knower of your body, mind and intellect, isn't it? Not the object of your body, mind and intellect. See, like that if you go, there is Bhagwan and Bhagwan is going to fulfill all my wishes. Yeah. That religion everybody follows. But who is Bhagwan? The knower of all. Very few people really aspire for. Because God is also for utility value. If God cannot remove our problems, yeah, but God is not here to remove our problems. God is that in where or in which, knowing which all your problems only disappear. I remember once I was going in the lift. This was in Hong Kong. I had newly gone there as brahmachari. Not many people knew me. And a lot of Indians in that building. I was going to some satsang in some center. And as I was standing outside for the lift, one maid, she was also Indian. One maid was also standing there to go up in the lift. And she immediately looked at me and he said, Namaste. Aap Sadhu Baba ho? That you are Sadhu Baba? Now, how do you say, yeah, I'm Sadhu Baba? Yeah. So I just gave the Indian nod. Because I don't know what she understands as Sadhu Baba. Because in India, Sadhu Baba means kidnappers, boogeyman. So I better not say anything. And to also take the title of being a sadhu. So I just nodded my head. So immediately she threw her hand right in front of my face. And mera haath dekho. See my hand. So I looked at her hand. It was not manicured, panicured that I could say, हाँ बहुत अच्छा है. No. So I said, हाँ देख लिया, I saw. नहीं मेरा हाथ देखो. I was wondering, why did she want me to see her hand? Luckily, some of the ladies who were coming for satsang, they came and the lift came down and she said, chalo, chalo, chalo. And then, these were the bosses, so kind of pushed her aside. But she got into the lift because she got a chance for the first time to meet a Sadhu Baba. So you might as well make best of it. And while these ladies are there, she immediately again put my hands up. Mera haath dekho na. Yeah. Now all these ladies were they started laughing. What she was trying to say is, read my palm and tell me my future. So luckily these ladies said, ये हमारे स्वामी जी, ये हाथ बात नहीं पढ़ते. He doesn't read all these hands and all that. Then she said, you are Sadhu Baba, no? You are Sadhu Baba, right? Then what do you do? We will say, God, what can God do? We are more interested in that, isn't it? That all in the 9th chapter and all has been said. What Ishvara can do for you. But 13th chapter is to know who in reality are you, who in reality is the knower of the entire universe, and therefore not just as information, but to realize who is God. And the scriptures say, the self of everyone, and therefore yourself, your self-realization. Simple now that you understand what's the theme of the 13th chapter? Huh? So, along with the body, mind and intellect and the entire world of objects, emotions, thoughts, the perceiver, feeler, thinker, the doer, the enjoyer, as well as the Mula Prakriti, the cause, the vasanas, the tendencies that you have, all constitute the world of matter that is experienced. And the knower of it all is the spirit, the consciousness. But how do we realize this consciousness? Now begins this beautiful section as to what constitutes knowledge. And Bhagavan says,
Nitvamadambhitvam
Amanitvam adhambitvam
ahimsakshantirarjavam
ahimsakshantir arjavam
acharyopasanam shaucham
acharyopasanam shaucham
स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः
Stairyam Atma Vinigraha. First quality to gain knowledge. Amanitvam. Mana, pride, arrogance, and our so-called esteem of ourselves. Where do we place ourselves? More than others, lower than others? When we measure ourselves with others, either we think that we are lower than them and get complexes, and therefore we always try to imagine that we are greater than them and develop arrogance. Amanitvam. Such kind of arrogance, I know it all. Do you really? Be honest with yourself. Be honest about, at least to yourself, as to who you are, what you are, where you are. Therefore, amanitvam. In our Shubhashitas also it is said that vidya dadati vinayam. Knowledge is that which gives you humility. Even Newton has said, and nowadays they say, I'm scientist, I'm an atheist, or I'm an agnostic, whatever. Newton has said, and you study Newton, Newton has said, the law of action and reaction. That's all that you understand. Einstein, E is equal to mc square. What do you really know what Einstein knows? Huh? And both these scientists have said that our knowledge is as much as a grain of sand on the shores of the ocean. The more you know, the more you recognize there is so much more to know. The more you know, you realize how much less you know about yourself. That brings about humility. Humility is not this pretendance, that, you know what, I'm your humble servant. No. This whole empire, I have not built. If you've not built, why do you say that I have not built? Yeah? Humility is a strange thing. If you think you've got it, you've lost it. Yeah? Humility is the recognition that how much more is there to know. In Hong Kong, I was called to address in the university, Hong Kong University, to the Chinese students, and their professor, who was such an honest man, he said, one of our studies is religious studies, philosophical studies, and honestly, the textbooks on these various religion, particularly Hinduism, is so distorted that I do not want to teach. And plus, I am from a different religion. I will not understand the terminologies of it. And therefore, he invited people from different religions to come and speak to the students about the different, it is one of the subjects. So when I went there were all Chinese students. It's an English college. He gave me 2 3-hour sessions to address them on Vedanta. He had heard about our talks and everything on Vedanta, the very essence of Hinduism. So when I was speaking there, I was giving them the very logic, as we said yesterday. It is not just God has said this, or the prophet, or the Messiah, or Avatar has said this. It is not like that. It is with a lot of understanding if we have to gain knowledge. So in between, very often, we wait to see a reaction. They were neither laughing, and in between, if I would say, have you understood it? There was no reaction. Till finally, I was getting no reaction after almost 2.5 hours. I was getting no reaction from them. So I was wondering, whether they understood me or not. So I just stopped I was no reaction. I'm used to an audience where there is some reaction. And that's the way we speak in between. You hear any Chinmayamission, Swami Brahmachari, isn't it in between? Yeah, so that there is a response or there's a rhetorical question. You may not say aloud, but you will murmur it. You hear no reaction. Just like when you take a class for teenagers. No reaction whatsoever. So at one point I stopped. I asked a question. There was no reaction. So I was wondering whether... So I stopped and I said, do you understand me? No reaction. I said, what I am speaking, do you understand? No reaction. Finally I said, do you understand English? No reaction. I said, if these don't even understand English, I'm speaking for 3 hours. Very inspired, very motivated, with all logic. I'm explaining, and well, yesterday, even if you didn't understand, at least some reaction was there. I can tell from your smile whether you understood or not, right? But these people, no reaction. Luckily, that professor was sitting behind and he got up and he said, this was a large class it was, he got up and he said, Swamiji, please don't mind it. But according to our Eastern culture, and that is Chinese culture, in front of the Sifu, in front of the teacher, Guru, the student must always sit as ignorant, so that whatever the teacher wants to explain, more the teacher wants to explain, the student is ready for it. Because if you say, I have understood, it is being arrogant. I know it, now enough, stop. Sometimes like when your teenagers tell you, okay dad, okay mom, I know mom. This is what our Eastern, and somewhere we Indians have lost it. The Chinese have still maintained it. No? Amanitvam. So if vidya tadati vinayam, yeah. Ramchandraji says in Ram Gita, Jnana man jaha ekahu nahi. Knowledge is there where there is no pride or arrogance. That is called as knowledge. So now you know why Krishna calls it as knowledge. Because that is knowledge where all our false pride and arrogance, our distinctions, differences, inequality comes to an end. That is true humility. Therefore, humility is the means to gain knowledge, and knowledge is there where there is humility. Now you understand why Bhagavan calls it as jnanam. So, amanitvam, adhambitvam, no pretendence, no hypocrisy, no mask. That's why you see when Hanumanji, in the Ramayana, when Hanumanji comes to find who these two young men dressed as ascetics, but carrying bow and arrow. They look like forest dwellers. That too as a learned Brahmin. And he inquires of the Lord, Ko tum shamal gaur sharira. His observation that you look like Kshatriyas, but you're moving like ascetics. All this he has analyzed. He's that knowledgeable. The Ramchandraji also praises he's no ordinary Pandit to Lakshman. But he has come disguised. He has come with a mask. Therefore, Bhagwan doesn't reveal himself. Remember the truth, God, reality is present here itself now. We don't see it because we are wearing a veil. We are wearing a mask. We are disguised. And with all these various identities that we put onto ourselves, pretendance, hypocrisy. Now, simple thing is, if anybody tells you you are bad, do you like it? Because all of us inherently are good. What do we want from others? Goodness. And when we get goodness from others, we are happy, is it not? Then why do we pretend to be good? Why not we become good? See? Hypocrisy is there when I respect some ideal and I feel I am not. Rather than aspiring for it, I put a show like a peacock. This is called as pretendance. There's a said, no. Don't pretend to know if you don't. Amanitvam, adhambitvam. Third, ahimsa. This word ahimsa has been misunderstood these days. Does it mean that somebody comes to kill your family and you sit there, okay, gade mujhe laat maar. You kill and they kill or they are shooting at your children and you will not pick up a gun to shoot them. This is how atrocities take place. Ahimsa is the quality of the courageous, the brave, and those who have got valor and ability to retaliate. But don't get into a fight unnecessary. And be so strong that nobody dare to harm you or harm anyone around you. But ahimsa does not mean, what we understand is that let anybody go on killing, plundering, destroying, and you do not protect yourself. The word ahimsa means there is no mental attitude of harming or hurting anyone. Sometimes in a state to protect the child, the mother also has to pull the child, or even sometimes hit the child. Do you call that as violence? If it is to protect the child? If it is to help the child? So, violence is not a physical act. It's a mental act born out of hatred to harm someone. Huh? There will be no ahimsa. Shantir. This word shantir, next word, translated as forgiveness, also as forbearance. Ahimsa will be there when there is forgiveness and there is forbearance. Now, the moment you use the word forgiveness, I know many questions will come up. Forgiveness does not mean not correcting the person who is doing wrong, but not with an attitude of harming the person. Yeah? And forgiveness is not the favor you do on someone, but free yourself from reliving the harm that someone tried or caused you. You know, one person had gone for one satsang. And outside, he just threw his slippers. And there must have been a young volunteer who told him rudely and called him, "Idiot, can't you read what's written here?" Now, he shouldn't have said that, but he said it because he saw him throwing slippers in a holy place like this. He shouldn't have said it, but he said it. Or, "Are you foolish? Can't you read it?" Now, he came out and he met that person who was giving the discourse and told that, "Guru, I have to complain to you. What does that volunteer think? He called me an idiot. Am I an idiot? How dare he call me an idiot? Yeah? What right has he to call me an idiot? Do I look like an idiot?" That Mahatma said, that person calls you an idiot once. You in front of everybody call yourself idiot 10 times. So who should be punished? Yeah? Forgiveness is for you to end your mental agitation. With an agitated mind, what knowledge can we get? Because all the time he was waiting to report to the Guru that he called him an idiot. So he was not meditating on Ram, 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 Ram that the Guru was telling him to meditate upon, but he was meditating idiot, idiot, idiot. The Guru was teaching him Shivoham, 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 Shivoham. And he is thinking, that he is an idiot. Yeah. Forgiveness is freeing yourself. At the same time, ahimsa and forgiveness goes together. Now tell me, why again Krishna calls this as knowledge? But suppose, if you just think, how many times has your teeth bitten your tongue? Especially in restaurants, isn't it? When you're talking and eating, when you're excited. Because the tongue has to be so careful. Push the food, get out. Push the food, get out. Huh? Luckily, it all happens autonomous system. Imagine if you had to think about it, you would never eat. And how many times still your teeth have bitten your tongue? Does your tongue go to the dentist and say, throw them all out? Remove them. Why? Because the jnanam, the knowledge is, the teeth is also me, the tongue is also me. Yeah? Therefore, Shantir. And this forgiveness is not like, I forgive you because you don't know what you do. Therefore, the name of earth is called as Shama. Mother is called as Shama. That you go and ask also for forgiveness, and the mother will ask, what did you do? The highest form of forgiveness is out of love, where you see yourself in the other and you do not have even the feeling that you have to forgive someone. That's the highest form. But if for something you are hurt, etc., then forgive in such a way, not that when you say forgive and forget, that you do not remember what happened, but you do not keep on repeating it to yourself every time you see the person. It's like this, I remember my grandmother used to tell our older, generation that, listen, when two people are married, they will fight. There will be quarrels. Sometimes, knowingly, unknowingly, you'll hurt each other. But before you go to bed, don't carry your quarrels to the next day. Forgive and forget. And many times people didn't understand, but people used to do. So I know this couple, they used to do that. So one day they had a very big quarrel, and as usual, she proved that he was wrong. And he was. So he said, forgive and forget. So she said, okay, forgive and forget. But another thing is, she will never let him forget. She told you go right. Yeah? Or she told you to go left. And you said left, and she said right. And you went right, but she told you left. And if you did not listen to her and say that you said it, after that for 20 years in the car, you never listened to me. Whoever's the back seat here, it was a woman, it can be a man also, right? Never forget. So after 20 years of marriage, once I was there on their wedding anniversary. And again they had a quarrel. And she reminded him 20 years ago before what had happened. And he said, I thought you had forgiven and forgotten. Why have you kept on repeating it all the time for 20 years? She said, I have forgiven, but I don't want you to forget that I have forgiven and forgotten. Yeah? Forgive in such a way that you keep on not getting agitated with it. Something is gone, somebody made a mistake, somebody did it deliberately, learn to protect yourself, but let go of the past. Otherwise, with those agitations, how can we meditate, contemplate, abide in our knowledge? Right? And if knowledge is there, it's like the tongue being bitten by the teeth. Do we take it as offense? In fact, whenever there is pain in the teeth, or something is stuck in the teeth and making you uncomfortable, the tongue only goes and makes all the effort. I said, no. Okay, I forgive. But don't forget to switch it off. Arjavam, straightforwardness, not crookedness, not deceit, not cheating anybody, not speaking on the sly. This straightforwardness doesn't mean that one is abrupt, but truthful, straightforward is what you see, you get. Upright, righteous. Therefore, there's got nothing to hide. Acharya upasanam. Acharya means teacher from whom we are gaining the knowledge, spiritual teacher. Acharya or guru. For any field, we need a teacher. To get information, these days you can go on the internet. But to get an insight into any subject. For example, you have a recipe. Try making it from the recipe. Generally, one who gives you the recipe, the most important ingredient is missed out. Because they don't want you to have that. But if you got a good friend, a good teacher, a master chef teaching you, will give you all the ingredients so that the student makes as good as the teacher. The teacher finds pride in that. But over Zoom, nowadays everybody wants even spiritual classes over Zoom. It was very helpful during the pandemic, of course, where you can't still. But you may get the full recipe. You may even watch Master Chef on television. Is it the same like when your grandmother or your mother or your loving mother-in-law taught you by demonstrating to you? Upasana, Guru Upasana doesn't mean that you just press the feet of the Guru or burn his dadi with the arti. Upasana means asana, sit. Upa, close. Taking your mind close to that ideal, the teachings that the Guru represents. The Guru demonstrates. This is called as Acharya Upasana. And simple thing is, that teacher in any field, whether music or dance, how much more in the spiritual field. That when there is that, you tune up your mind with your teacher, then the subtleties of that knowledge comes to you. Therefore, when only Arjuna knew how to enter that Chakravyuh and get out of the Chakravyuh in the Mahabharata story, and all the time, whether it was Bhishma or Drona, both were teachers of the Kauravas as well as the Pandavas. No doubt Pandavas were righteous, and those who are good are liked by everybody. But those who love, they love their children even they are bad. Even Duryodhan was loved by Bhishma and Dronacharya. But when it came to the battlefield, no one could excel Arjuna. And at one point, Duryodhan asked the teacher, how come Arjuna knows more than us? We didn't even hear about Chakravyuh. When did you teach him Chakravyuh? Dronacharya said, I taught all of you equally. But what Arjuna got? Because of his devotion to his Guru, his sincerity and devotion to the Guru is not like, I love you, I love you, I love you. Devotion to the Guru means that every word that my Guru speaks is treasured by me. Arjuna remembered everything. Duryodhana even forgot that the Guru had taught him. And to such students, it seems that the Guru teaches more than what anybody was taught. Because many people, when the bell rings, they want to run out to take a break. But sincere students used to stay back to gain more. I remember even in school, there was a bunch of us, when the recess would break and the teacher would continue the next class. And was a very good teacher we had in school. And the teacher would stay in the class so that we could take a 15 minutes break and come back. And when most students used to run, few of us would sit there. And when we got that one-to-one, that personal explanation of something that we didn't understand in the class or we wanted to know more. No? Such teachers, they're ready to give to everybody. But only those who have that upasana, that attunement, that sincerity, they gain it. Therefore, Acharya Upasanam. In 4th chapter, Krishna said, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadikshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshina. That this knowledge, those who know the scriptures, as well as realized the truth of it, they can teach, but you must be fit for it. And how is it known? Through humility. Pranipatena. Prostration is not just a physical bowing down. Aajkal to dhat tere ki. It is not that. Reluctantly. To bow our head, we have to give up that man. Amanitvam. Therefore said pranipatena. Pariprashnena. With inquiry, questioning, to know, not to defy, not to argue, but to know. Pariprashnena. Sevaya. Service of the teacher. Service of the teacher is not just pressing the feet of the teacher. Service of the teacher means that whatever my teacher instructs me, I do it. Not that the teacher is saying, go jump in the well. Yeah? That kind of blind following has led to all the disasters. But what my teacher has taught me, what practices my teacher has given, what my teacher has instructed. As parents, what do you want? Even the children to provide for you? You are happy when you see your children not only happy, but you see them developing and progressing. Isn't it, as parents? Can you imagine Guru, who is like countless parents put together? What does the Guru want of us? Huh? If we get that opportunity to, be close, to offer to the Guru whatever basic needs are required, that is great. But Guru doesn't want that also. It is our happiness, our knowledge, our self-development. This is called as Guru Seva. And Guru Seva is what? To reach out to the maximum. If you are a demonstration and you reach to the maximum, spreading that happiness, that is Guru Seva. So Acharya Upasanam. Saucham, cleanliness. You say cleanliness is next to godliness. And 3 other cleanliness, please. Physical cleanliness, mental cleanliness of your thoughts and attitude, and the cleanliness of your environment, both physical and company. Saucham. Stairyam, steadfastness, not wavering. Not like Surpanakha. Now here, now there. Now here, now there. Steadfastness. Be steady towards your goal. Not that, kabhi, sometimes not. Try this, try that. Steadfastness, steadiness. Atma vinigraha. See, all these qualities we have to develop within ourselves. Atma vinigraha, mastery over one's senses, mind, as well as at a deeper level, your thoughts. Atma vinigraha. And if there is Acharya Upasanam, these will become easy. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is pointed out. Therefore, in the order, it's also being said. Because when you're in the company of the good, automatically, you cannot do something wrong, isn't it? That's why even children, when they've got teenagers, etc., when they've got some addictions or bad habits, when they want to get out of it, they will generally revolt against their parents and run after their friends. That time I advise them that whenever some thoughts come to your mind to do something wrong, run to your parents, run to your coach, run to your well-wishers and be in their company. The thoughts will subside. No? So therefore, Atma Vinigraha. Then next.
Artheshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam.
Indriya artheshu vairagyam. Now this word, if not understood properly, vairagyam. Vairagyam is not a dislike for sense objects. Vairagya is not running away from sense objects, because wherever you go, even in the cave, you will want your own slab to sleep on. Vairagya is being free from likes and dislikes for any object. Which means your freedom from your dependence on anything for your happiness. So Vairagya is freedom. Without this I cannot live. How can life be happy without this? When we have got such false notion, there can be no Vairagya. To give you an example of what Vairagya means, it's actually freedom. Freedom to choose. Freedom to be happy in spite of. You know how many ifs and buts have we put in our life for happiness? Only if I get this tea of this brand, in this measure, then only I will be happy. Therefore, see how our mind gets continuously raga attached to it. But just for you to understand, when I used to go for these courses, even I've started 40 years ago. So now those children are 40 years of age. So there's one house I used to go to, and from morning to evening, even then, I would be taken from one place to another, giving 3 discourses in the Bhiksha question answer sessions. At first, when these children see this, oh, Swamiji is being taken, the food that Swamiji is given, and they say, what lucky Swami. First thing they say is, when I grow up, I want to be a Swami. Yeah. Because then I can go on flights, I can go to London, I can go to Kuala Lumpur, all that. Children get very excited. And afterwards they find out that the Swami's life is not an easy life. Teenagers still have their problems, so they will not give you freedom. At least they'll decide, I don't want to be a Swami. But children are so cute. One day that 5-year-old kid comes to me and says, Swamiji, all these people come and give you problems. Can Swamiji play games? Because, Mummy, can't talk like this to Swamiji. Don't do this to Swamiji. So, looks like the Swamis are not allowed to have any fun. So, asking, Swamiji, are you allowed to play a game? I said, Beta, I am allowed to play anything good. He said, Swamiji, will you play carom with me? So sweetly asked. I said, yes. But I used to just get 1 hour in the afternoon to go to my room, whether to prepare for the class or rest a little bit. Now that's the only time he said that these adults have spared the Swami. So he would knock at my door and say, Swamiji, we play. So that day I played with him. Now, my practice has gone over the years. But these children are so good. Even, these games they play. So what happened is that I played with him. Guess who won? That 5-year-old kid. At first I was, all the parents also very happy. And I also said, let the child win, that will encourage him. Not that I lost, but let the child win, encourage him and all that. Parents also very happy. But now that he has defeated the Swami, 2 things. He announces to everybody, I defeated Swamiji. I defeated Swamiji. But you're not supposed to have any ego, so it doesn't matter. Child, losing from a child, so what? Then every day is knocking at my door. Swamiji, play with me. Because nothing gives you confidence like success, right? Nothing succeeds like success. So he came, play with me, play with me, play with me. And every day you defeat me, every day you would play with me, play with me, play with me. Sometimes I would say also, Beta, today I'm tired. No, Swamiji, please play with me. Because the thrill of victory. Finally, after 7-8 days of my yajna was over, on the last day, I was playing, and somehow the pink coin, which is the queen, went. And that is 50 points. If you get the queen, you have won the game. Immediately, he looked at me. I said, I won the queen. But they are so unnerving. Strategy of winning, these children learn. He just started saying, if you want the queen, there has to be a cover also, no? Queen cannot be afforded without a servant. Right? So you need a cover, He's going on. And that's even more. And this is the tension that was building up. Finally, that I am winning, the anxiety. And he's going, Like you've still not won the queen. No. That time I did my Hanuman Chalisa or Manorat, Jo koi lave, soi amit jeevan phala pave. And I hit. And guess what? I won or I lost? Thank God for having confidence on me. But he thought I would lose. And I got the cover. When I got the cover, You know what was his reaction? I cheered him every day, but he was such a spoiled sport. How you spoil your children? That they can't accept failure or defeat. How will they attain greater success if they don't accept defeat sometimes? How will they have the sportsmanship of life? So now that he lost, he threw all the coins and, I don't want to play the game. You're cheating. This, that. Started crying. I said, all these days you won the queen. Okay. Today I won the queen. Why are you crying? I'm being philosophic. Meanwhile, the mother came up. What did you do, Swamiji? I said, nothing. I just won the queen. And he's crying. His father won the queen and is crying all his life. Yeah. So I saved him from winning the queen. And he was crying, I want the queen, I want the queen. So mother looks at me and says, Swamiji, he's a child, give him the queen, no? Now what, I'll sit and cry like that child and say, no, I want the queen. Why should I give the queen? First of all, I am a Swami. What have I to do with a queen? Yeah. That too also is no some beauty queen. Yeah. It's a carom queen. It matters for the children of this world. But Vairagya is that growth, that no longer the toys and the loss and gain of the toys of the world matters, because your goal is something higher. This is called as Vairagya. I am the seeker of permanent happiness, not temporary pleasures. They will come and go. The objects of the world are going nowhere. Even if you leave them, they are going to chase you. Let your mental preoccupation and dependence not be in their gain or their loss. This is called as Vairagya. Indriyartheshu Vairagyam. Anahankara evacha. Freedom or absence from ego. Ego is the different identities we take up. Actually, all our identities are false. But different identities we take up. And then, as earlier it was said, we show that even bigger than what we identify with. So, freedom from ego. Ego means, I did this, therefore all this is for me. But when you honestly ask yourself, even to attain this success that you have today, the popularity that you may have, the knowledge that you have, from where did you get it? Compared to the effort you put in, how your parents, society, God, nature, teachers, mentors, friends have helped you to be where you are, including your staff, your labor. Is it that you alone did it? Anahankara. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, dosha, anudarshanam. Anudarshanam, constantly seeing what? Dukkha, dosha. The fallacy of the pain that we go through in life. Why? Because of our birth, sickness, and old age and death. And the famous story is of none other than Siddhartha, who became Buddha. His father was told by an astrologer, and those times there were great astrologers, that I see a peculiar yoga in your child's chart. I see simultaneously that he is a king as well as a pauper. This only shows that he is going to be a renunciate. Now, most people think renunciate you become, when there's some major problem in your life. That's why they ask you also, Swamiji, why did you become, at least now my age is there, other when I was young. We all started off in our 20s. Why did you become a Swami? There's one Amma used to ask me, elderly woman, and always look at me. First she said, blessed is your mummy. And then she'd look at me, why did you become a Swami? And every time she used to ask this question, that I must have a lot of question answer sessions. So every time she used to ask me this question, I used to say that, I read the Bhagavad Gita, and that's what I read. I got so inspired by it. Then I saw Gurudev, and I saw his work from the remote villages to the biggest city, and how this one man, every day of his life, for the happiness of people, he has worked day and night. That's what I wanted to do with my life. And I said, even if a little bit I do, I should say all these things. I thought they would be quite convinced, because what can be more convincing than this? What can be more motivating than this? Till she would ask this question every time, till one day I said, Amma, I've answered you this question how many times? I've even listed you all that inspired me in my Guru. Yeah? She says, all that is very nice, beta. But what was that problem because of which you became a Swami? Do we need to have any special problem? Birth itself is pain, is it not? If it pains the mother so much, the child that is squeezed out, is it not painful? But you forget that. Birth itself is pain. Growing pains, though, all of you know. Heartbreaks of the teenager. जब दिल ही टूट गया, अब जी के क्या करेंगे? फिर भी जीते हैं और फिर दूसरे के साथ लव करते हैं. Because they don't learn from it. The pains of growing up. The fear of death. Worse than death. Death itself is not that bad. Fear of death. And more than that, old age and sickness. Constantly remember that which is born is one day going to die. And in between also what we call enjoyment is punctuated by pain and sorrow. Which life are we in? Bhaj Govindam? I hope you all saw it during the COVID time. I had spoken on Outthink Uncertainty. It's still available on ChinmayaChannel. Listen to it. There he says, Nalani dalagata jalamati taralam tadvad jivitam atishaya chapalam vidhi vyadya bimana agrastam lokam shokatam cha samastam. That life itself that we think is enjoyment is like the fluttering of the dewdrop. In the morning sun, it shines like diamond. And even while it is on the leaf, it is unsteady. When it will fall off, we don't know. And one whiff of a breeze, and it perishes. That's why our rishis say, have come into this ever-changing, in Gita itself, 8th chapter. This anitya asukham loka. Having come into this world which is temporary and not really full of happiness. What we know as happiness is only some absence of sorrow. This hall is quiet, you say, right? But if I keep quiet, you'll hear the air condition humming, everything. It's only relatively quiet. Absolute quietness, you don't know. And what is, meet anybody, that's why Nanak Dukhya Sab Sansar. Buddha also said, Sarvam Dukkham Dukkham. And if you don't agree with it, you say, no, life is joy and sorrow, joy and sorrow. Yes, but joy comes with sorrow. See your heartbeat also, no? Just check it out right now. Just feel your heart. Workshop, direct experience, interactive. Yeah. How does it sound? What's the sound of your heart? Can you feel your heart? How does it sound? If you touch the heart of a child, it will be duk suk. Duk suk. Duk means sorrow, suk means happiness. Duk suk. And you see, suk also when it withdraws. Duk suk. Duk suk. Duk suk. Duk suk. Duk suk. But I'm sure you didn't hear that, no? You must have only heard duk duk, duk duk, duk duk, duk duk. Meet anyone and wait with them for more than 2 minutes. All you will hear is their sorrow story. Yeah? What is happiness in life? Seek the eternal happiness. Constantly remember, life is passing us by. Huh? Having come into this anitya asukham lokam, imam prapya bhajasvamam. Seek the eternal. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Now Bhagavan continues to say,
Tiranabhishwangaha Putradara Grihadishu Nityam cha samachittatvam Ishtanishtopapatishu
asaktihi, non-attachment. Attachment is when we depend on something for our happiness. Be a giver of happiness. Don't be a beggar of happiness. Especially not from things, but from people. Whoever you get attached to becomes the cause of your sorrow. Putra. It's not said putri. Daughters are quite good. Yeah. Here we don't say discrimination. No? Yeah. Putra means putri included. Your child. Dara, your spouse. Griha, your house. Adishu. Whatever you claim as my, is the cause of your sorrow or not? Who hurts you most? Your relatives, no? Yeah. They only hurt you most. Which sorrow bothers you most? Of your children only, isn't it? And who can hurt you the most? Your spouse. Yeah. Nityam cha samachitvatvam. Constant, keep your mind balance. Ishta anishta upapattishu. In the gain of that which is desirable or undesirable. Our joys and sorrows depends upon what we like and what we dislike, what we desire and what we don't desire. Be free of this You can't be free of desire right now. But when you have done your best, whatever you get, accept. Accept it as prasad. Even if you learn from it, it's a great gain. Even if you found out you were wrong, it's a great gain. Yeah? Having explained that, but now that you have conserved and calmed your mind, it is only possible if you have got devotion, dedication for the higher. Otherwise, why will you do all this? And therefore, Bhagavan speaks here about bhakti. And he says,
Mayi chananya yogena bhaktiravya-bhicharini vivikta-desha-sevitvam aratirjana-samsadi
Maicha ananya yogena. This word we find number of places, especially in the 9th, 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Anya, other. Ananya, where there is no other. The highest form of love is identification with the beloved, where there is no you, no me. There is only love. Ananya also wanting nothing other than my beloved. If I want something else from my beloved, that is not Ananya. Ananya means single-pointed, where there is no distraction. Your first loving, romantic date after your engagement. Yeah? You want anyone to come and disturb you in between? This Ananya Bhakti is what is called as meditation. Where there is no other thought, there is no thought of any other. But just me and my beloved, the seeker and the sought. No kebab mein haddi. Nobody between me and my beloved. So, and bhakti avyabhicharini. This vyabhichar word, in English the translation will not sound very good. When you've got many lovers, what is such a person called? Yeah? One who is wedded to his or her goal, wedded to the truth, with mind not jumping like Surpanakha now to Lakshman, then to Ramchandraji, and in between God knows how many. Yeah? Single-pointed devotion. And what attracts us from the permanent back to the impermanent are our sense organs. That's why Lakshman cuts off the ears and nose of Surpanakha. Because these are the two senses we cannot shut down. So what significance is there in our Ramayana also? That's why if you know the Puranas and the epic, it is very easy to understand how this can be achieved. Not that you have to cut off your ear and nose. No, just like husbands cut off from the constant reminder by the wives. Ears are open. She's screaming away at the highest pitch, but he doesn't hear it. Cut off, that is called. Vivikta desha sevitvam. Trying to remain in solitude. Spend some time with yourself. And Gurudev used to laugh and say, if you don't like your company, don't impose it on others. And to be with yourself doesn't mean that you lock in your room. Spend some quiet time without magazines, without WhatsApp, just with yourself. And you might just recognize that first what you see you may not like about yourself. But in and through, what you don't like, there will be that shining self of yours that you begin to love. And arati jana samsadi, and stay away from the maddening crowd. Keep the company of santa. Unnecessary talk of worldly things, etc. Keep away from such company. Then you can stay in the company of the thoughts of truth. Then you can stay in the company of your thoughts. Then you can either straighten your thoughts or recognize how beautiful thoughts you have. And as you are alone with yourself and your mind gets quietened, you might just peep through the veil and recognize your beautiful self. Shantam, Shivam, Sundaram. And then you can say Shivoham, Shivoham. Now what is the last verse is actually, if you have all this, then what is knowledge is being spent in this last verse.
Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etad jnanamiti proktam ajnanam yadatonyatha
Adhyatma jnana nityatvam. That what knowledge we have heard of the scriptures from the Guru, keeping your mind guided, steady in contemplation, first daily. Keep your mind steady on that knowledge. Tattva jnanartha darshanam. Then you will have the direct realization of that knowledge that has been guided by the Guru and with such a mind and intellect. Etad jnanam iti proktam. This is what is called as knowledge. Anyatha, other than that, is all ignorance. See how beautifully Bhagavan has explained. That knowledge which has been pointed out by the scriptures of that which is and is ever present, of the nature of eternal bliss, to keep your mind constantly steady, contemplating on that, keeping that and that as your goal. And where there is no other thoughts, you come to realize it. And that is called as jnanam. Thus Bhagavan has pointed out the means and what knowledge means is direct realization of the truth. And how it is gained, Bhagavan has pointed out. Therefore, the means and the goal is called as jnanam. Now, what is it that is to be known? What is realized by a realized master? And what is it that you have to realize? That beautiful goal, that beautiful self of yours, that God within, who or what that is now going to be expounded by Bhagavan. Isn't it beautiful now? Difficult? Develop these qualities and it won't be difficult. Because how far is this journey? If it was in some heaven, some planet, It might be difficult. This is your journey from your lower self to yourself. From your ignorance to knowledge. Therefore, consistent in this knowledge. Don't give up. Pursue it. Don't be distracted. We are approaching weekends, Company of people will start. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Today there are some special Bhagavad Gita books which they have requested me to sign it. And I invoke Gurudev's and Bhagwan Krishna's blessings. So if you want signed copies of the Bhagavad Gita, I can see it's there today. Tomorrow, okay. So tomorrow before you come to class, pick it up. Because there is a limited edition.
हमको जीना नारायण भगवान गुरु सिखाए हमको जीना नारायण भगवान जय गुरुदेव।